being senators, you have the opportunity to sponsor legislation that changes the lives of many people. And I was wondering, what legislation do you see yourself sponsoring or creating that that you want to be known for?
You want to start?
Got one that I'm focusing my attention on right now that I introduced a few weeks ago. It's Senate Joint Resolution 5. It's become known as the Lee-Kyle Balanced Budget Amendment Proposal. It's an effort to amend the Constitution under Article 5 by having Congress propose by a necessary 2/3 margin of both houses and having the states ratify, 3/4 of the states ratify. Once it took effect, what it would say is that Congress may not spend more than it takes in every year, spend more than 18% of gross domestic product in a year, raise taxes or raise the national debt ceiling without 2/3 of both houses of Congress coming back again to ratify it. And what this is designed to do really is to protect you, to protect your generation and generations that will follow after that. What we're doing right now in Congress, the way we're spending money is reckless, and it's really an especially bad deal for you, for your entire generation, and here's why. Every year, we're spending about 1.6 to 1.7 trillion dollars each year more than we have to spend. We're spending money we don't have. And we call that deficit spending, and that's added up over time to the point where we've got almost $15 trillion in debt. But what that really means is we're paying it forward. We're putting it on an account that your generation is going to have to pay for, even though a lot of that debt was racked up before many of you were even old enough to vote, probably before some of you were even born. In fact, some of it was racked up before your parents even had occasion to meet, and yet you'll be left paying for this bill. To put that in perspective, the amount of money involved in it, you divide $15 trillion among 300 million Americans, it's $50,000 a head. So imagine each one of you owing $50,000 per person to the federal government right now. And then think about the fact that we're adding to that at a rate now approaching $2 trillion a year. It's stunning. And whether you're a liberal or a conservative, it ought to concern you. Because by the end of this decade, we could easily reach the point where Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and interest on national debt will grow so large, with the largest growth piece just being interest on national debt, which by the end of this decade could equal or exceed $1 trillion a year, could grow so large that no other government program could exist. So just the black hole created by the mounting interest payment that we have could jeopardize whatever government program you feel most strongly about, whether that's national defense or whether that's Medicare. It threatens all of them. Anyway, that's why I feel passionately about that, because I think we need to agree not to spend your money before it's even made.
Let me follow up on that. I think the number one problem is the debt. I agree with my balanced budget amendment. Also think that you have to decide, which gets back to the Constitution, if we follow the Constitution strictly, and we said to the federal government, you can only do what was enumerated under Article 1, Section 8, there's like 17 to 19 enumerated powers, the budget would balance every year because we'd be doing a lot less than we do now. Now, some will say, well, I read the Constitution, it says we're supposed to take care of the general welfare. The thing is, if you read Madison will tell you what he thought of the welfare clause. He said, yeah, there is a general welfare clause, but if we meant that you could do anything, why would we have listed the enumerated powers? Really, the welfare clause is bound by the enumerated powers that we gave the federal government. What I want to have happen is, I don't want to have government by crisis. You've seen Greece fail, you've seen Ireland, Iceland, Portugal, Spain, they're all having debt problems. We've got it coming. Within a decade, the entire budget will be occupied by entitlements and interest. No money left for anything else. We don't want to wait till that happens. Let's start fixing it now. In Greece, when they had their problem and their debt came to a point that they couldn't pay any longer, the entitlement programs, the retirement age, shot up dramatically overnight. So what I'm here saying is something that's not necessarily popular yet, but since you're all going to be older when you get Social Security, and I think you've probably already figured that in. But I want to say it now, that we let the age rise gradually to 70 and fix the problem for you now, prices, and we have to overnight do it. If today we change the age from 67 to 70 immediately, a lot of people would suffer. A lot of poor people who don't have anything with Social Security will not be able to factor in that. If I tell you that now, you have time to plan for it. And you're going to have to, whether you like it or not. The economics of it are we don't have enough money to continue the system the way we have it now. Next.